Good morning, Council. From the administration side of things, we have one addition, and under closed session 16D, Code of Conduct Update, FOIP Section 16.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Any additions?
Do have that motion. I'll move Brazeau County Council adopt the agenda as amended.
Discussion? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Thanks. All right, follow-up action list, Colin, anything of that's exciting?
I don't know about exciting, but we will have two items coming forward from follow-up action list, and they will be two items that are discussed in the closed session later this afternoon.
Okay. Did I miss the minutes? I did. Okay, we'll come back to the follow-up action. So the adoption of the minutes of Council June 18th. Any errors or omissions? Any comments? Donna?
Adopt the minutes of regular council meeting on June 18th.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, now the follow-up action list. Motion to receive for information. Anthony?
Follow-up action list for information.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Thank you. Planning and development, nothing. Public works, road closure, 11/59/23.
Good morning. Yes, we're here for road closure bylaw 11/59/23. Brazeau file number 20. I'll just repeat that so it's on the minutes. Road closure bylaw 11/59/23. Brazeau file number 23RC-002. So council passed first reading August 15th, 2023 to close via lease a portion of statutory road allowance on 51st Ave between 64th Street and 63rd Street in the Poplar Ridge area. That's shown on Schedule B and C. If council approves second and third reading of the bylaw, Brazeau County would then place gates to prevent unauthorized access. The road closure bylaw was approved by Alberta Transportation and Economic Corridors on June 11th, 2023.
Thanks. So it still is just a temporary closure, right? It's going to be a lease, so we're not going to lose it forever.
That's right. It's just temporary. At any point via bylaw, you can rescind the bylaw and
Okay.
open it back up.
Because as you know, I'm not a real favor of closing off roads. Just because the future opportunity could be missed, whether it's fiber optics corridor or whether it's, anything like that. So if it's temporary, I can live with it. Anthony?
I agree with that, but I'm prepared to move second reading.
Okay.
I move second reading to bylaw 11/59/23.
Those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
One opposed? Okay. She's asking for second and third reading? Cody?
I move to give third reading to bylaw 1159-23.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, those opposed? Wow. That's the trouble with principles, eh? Easy to fight for, hard to live by. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Fire services. More money. Have you thought about buying a Volkswagen, Tom?
Many times. Good morning, Mr. Council. So I'm here this morning to talk about the command truck. So during the 2024 budget deliberations, council approved the purchase of the fire command truck for a cost of $78,200. That included the cost of the vehicle for $66,000 and then the installation of the emergency lightings and radio, et cetera, for $12,200. This is a cost-shared project with the town of Drayton Valley. The town approved the additional funds last week. Unfortunately, due to supply and demand issues, the cost to purchase the actual vehicle has increased up to $8,000 from the original quote that we received in early 2023. So consequently, the county share has increased another additional $4,000. With the approval of this request, the money will come from the fire restricted surplus for the county's portion. So we're asking council to approve this purchase.
Thoughts? Doesn't anybody live up to their word anymore? They give you a quote and they stand by it, or?
Yeah, it's the problem that we're having is this vehicle have the police package, which has the beefed up suspension, braking system, all that kind of stuff. So these vehicles are hard to get. So yeah,
So what's the point of getting a quote?
so that council has an idea or a ballpark of the amount that we're looking to spend.
Donna, go ahead.
I move to approve the additional $4,000 for NONC-0057 command truck.
Any other discussion? So two head jiggles there, one this way and one this way. All right, all those in favor?
Oops.
How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
That was carried unanimous.
Thanks.
If we just learned to say yes, it'd be so much easier on you, wouldn't it be, Tom? All right, no ag service reports? Is he coming? Well, we could carry on to terms of reference for the, oh, there's Lee. Okay, Lee, we're just dealing with the student recreation package.
Yes, so morning, council. So on page 54, during the June 17th Joint Recreation Board meeting, Information was presented, a potential to offer reduced rate for accessing recreation facilities. This is through their zero-fee, the nursing program. The rate would be available to students participating in the registered nursing program through the University of Calgary via the Clean Energy, the CETC. The Clean Energy Technology Centre worked with the University of Calgary to reduce some student fees. Because they're not on campus, they're not able to utilize the university's athletic recreation program, so they deducted those fees. So then, in turn, they would like to offer the nursing program something equivalent. There's currently 9 students in the program. So at Rec Board, they presented 2 options for implementation. And so if you turn to page 57, this was the package that was presented. There was option 1, option 2, and they chose to go with the option 2. If you look right now, it's a combined swimming pool and gym. A normal yearly fee for that would be $625, but they would like to have a reduced fee and offer the nurses $425. Are you with me there at the bottom of page 57 there? So that's what they're presenting. One thing that's different on this program, whereas at the university, you can't opt out of the recreation package. You have to pay the rate no matter what. They're offering this as they don't have to take it. So there'd be 9 nurses, so they have the potential to pay this or not pay it. They can opt in or out. And so this was presented, and each was coming back to each respective council. This was getting presented back to town, and we're presenting it to council, Brazeau County.
And so the town has preferred option 2?
The Rec Board.
Oh, the Rec Board, okay.
Yeah.
Anything to say about that, Cody? Good, okay. That's the way to be. All right, what's your wishes there, councillors? Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, there is, I guess, I don't want to say it's a concern, but it could affect our bottom line. But there's no way to know in what direction. You know, this could bring new people that are, not using the facilities otherwise, and then it's going to, increase the revenue of the facility. Or it could be taking existing people and giving them a better rate, which would bring it down. But at the end of the day, it's not a huge expense. We have, I think, is it 9 students? Or, yeah, so there's 9 students. That's not going to make or break anything. I think it's a good opportunity for these students who otherwise, they're never going to be in the University of Calgary to use their recreation facilities there. So I think it makes perfect sense, and if we want to go ahead with it.
All right, so are you going to make a motion to support the initiative from the Recreation Committee?
I would love to. Is
Okay,
that appropriate because I'm on the Recreation Committee? I'm sending a letter to support myself?
Well, no, actually,
Support my
just
decision?
because you're on a committee doesn't mean you support the committee. You can be on a committee and oppose everything that they put forward. Just because you're on a committee doesn't mean you're an advocate.
I understand. It was
Okay.
more of a funny. Sorry, Bart. You're the only one that makes the jokes around here.
Oh, I see. My sense of humor is drying up. Is that what you're saying?
Mine's always been that way, but
Okay.
anyway, I move to send a letter of support to the town of Drayton Valley endorsing the implementation of a student recreation package for participants in the registered nursing program through the University of Calgary via the Clean Energy Technology Center through the lowering of fees associated to accessing town fitness center and pool.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Thank you. Okay, TIA, Technology and Innovation Committee, terms of reference. We worked on that. This is what we developed. If it's suitable for council, we need a motion to approve the terms of reference. Colin?
Yes, and so I know Councillor Westerland had put this on here, and so I believe the intent of bringing the terms of reference forward, just in regards to some of the ratifications of some of the meetings there, and if council would like to change the terms of reference to allow the members of the Technology Innovation Investment Attraction Committee to go out and have some of the meetings they're having versus having to have everything approved by council beforehand. So actually kind of embed within those terms of reference that they will be out actively meeting with, you know, small businesses or entrepreneurs out there, has been taking place the last month there. So kind of just to gauge council's thoughts on if they'd like to go forward the way we currently are. I know we have had from the consultant side them saying that's kind of just held up booking a few meetings, or if we'd like to take a look and kind of have that put in so it's known ahead of time, they can go forward and book these meetings.
Kara, did you want to say anything on the terms of reference?
No, I think Colin just nailed it. It's just we were having issues with consultants trying to line up meetings and then having them approved by council. It's just proving to be a bit of a difficult and yeah.
Yeah, it really slows the process down, especially in the summertime, you know, when you can have a month and a half without having a council meeting. So everything has to be approved, but it's kind of the way it is normally with all the other committees. If there's conferences or things like that, they all have the authority to send the people to the meetings. So we need a motion then. Kara, this is your cue.
It will be just simple to make a motion to just change the terms of reference for the TIIA meeting or for the TIIA committee.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you there.
Sorry, I'll move to approve the amended terms of reference for the TIIA committee.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Colin?
So just kind of for clarification there, we will, so the terms of reference currently in the agenda are the previously approved terms of reference there. So we would be looking to amend them in a way to insert something that provides that latitude for the committee members to attend the meetings as we discussed here this morning.
So what do you propose?
Or update the terms, yeah.
What sort of wording would you need there, Colin? Is it something along the lines that the TIA is given the authority to approve meetings as appropriate? Yeah. Like we've got two people right now, Glenn, that we've talked to that we need to have a meeting with. The Brazeau guys, and we've got the two fellows there with the rain towers.
And yeah, I don't know whether, as you mentioned, follow up on that one, and then if council would have to come back with a recap after the meetings take place, and that way it's documented within the agenda minutes as well too.
Yeah, we're trying to make sure everything is documented, so there's a track. Glenn, anything? Oh.
I think all we can do is have Kara remove her motion and then make a new one to have this one, administration draft an update for the TIIAC committee or Technology Innovation Investment Attraction Committee and present it to council when they're done. So that would be a month away yet, but we'd have to have this updated first before we can approve.
Yeah, you can update it today and then it's in effect.
Can you get it updated today?
Yeah, we can get it updated today, thanks.
Okay.
I got the head jiggle from Anthony, so. Kara, do you want to remove your motion?
Yes, may I have permission to remove my motion?
Okay, yes. Anthony?
I think what you guys are trying to accomplish is to allow, I guess I better make sure, to allow the committee members to attend meetings and conferences that the committee members had not been previously approved for, and that they would report back to the next council meeting of their findings. I think that's kind of the intent of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think it was more designed so that they just have the same authority. So, like, I'll give you an example. Planning and development, if there's a conference that they need to go to, they're authorized to give themselves the authority to attend,
yeah.
right? And that's, so we just, the committee is looking to have the same sort of ability that if there's a business leader that wants to locate in Brazeau County, we can have a meeting with them without having to wait for a council meeting. So it's basically doing the same thing as other committees, giving the authority to have those meetings when appropriate. Right? No, it's just a matter of meeting and reporting back anyway. Glenn?
I wouldn't be in favor of the conferences part of it. I do like the idea that we could make, have a 2-hour Zoom meeting or go to some place, for a 1-day meeting sort of a thing, but a 4-day conference wouldn't be fair to council that should be approved yet through council.
Either way, it doesn't matter to me. So we need a motion then to authorize meetings with investors. I guess it'd be the best way when appropriate. What do you got there? Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, you gotta read it out.
I move that the TIIA committee members are approved to attend all meetings with potential investors as required.
Discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, carried unanimous. Global Energy, good report there, Glenn. I'll take you everywhere. Motion to receive Glenn's report for information. Anthony?
I move to receive Glenn's report on the FCM conference for information.
FCM and the Global Energy.
Oh, and
the
Global.
Emerald Awards.
Okay, thank you. I'll add that as well.
Okay, discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Thank you. Carried unanimous. Donald and Linda Heberts, request for security deposit return. Glenn Gunderson.
So Donald and Linda Hebert called me and explained to me that they were in a predicament where Donald had recently had a stroke, and they're just not able to look after the property. And when they went to sell it, they already knew that they were going to have a problem selling it because their driveway was attached to a private road that wasn't owned by them. And so they had to create a new driveway straight south of them to get onto the county road. At the time, they wanted this done fairly quick, so they contacted the county to see if they could get an approach built, and they were told late August. And they just felt that was too far. They wanted to get the road built and get the approach done to get the place up for sale as soon as possible. And they were told that they would have to supply a deposit of $3,200 at the time. So they went that way. They had the road and the approach built, and it's through no fault of administration or it's just a communication mix-up, but they thought that after that approach was inspected that there would be a chance to get that money back. And then they found out that it's going to be a full year before that money can come back. And they were kind of needing that. Well, they do need that money for a deposit for a place in Edmonton. So they're just, like I said, it's not administration's fault or policy. We have good policy on this. This is just a one-off where it's a bad situation. And I went and I took a look at their approach, and it looked pretty good to me, but that's not going to be good enough. Like I said, we need council's support to allow this deposit to go back. It's called a warranty deposit, I've been told later. I didn't know about this. I've actually talked to some other ratepayers who were looking to get approaches done, and that was back when Adam was here, and Adam said that there was a deposit that was required, but he never really specified how much or what it was. So I was kind of in the dark, and I've been advising this ratepayer to go that way. And now I find out I know a little bit more about it, but I also looked online, and I didn't see anything specifically in our policy stating that I couldn't find it anyways, and Linda couldn't find it either. I'm sure it's there someplace. Administration has told me that they told the Hibberts that this was what was how it was going to go down. But so I don't know. Like, it's just circumstantial, and this is the way it went down. But I'm hoping that that the councilors can help me out here. I mean, we just had that approach meeting, that 2-hour meeting with the Public Works, and I don't think this was brought up at all as far as this deposit went either.
I think, Glenn, that doing one-offs is bad news because it'll be another one-off for somebody else. The problem is it's our policy that, I don't know why we wait a year. 90%, or I'd say 95% of the cost is hauling in your dirt and paying for the gravel. And if we inspect and say it looks good, there can always be settling, but what's that gonna cost? Next to nothing to touch it up at the end of the day. So I think we need to change our policy, you know, down to after inspection, 2 months is more than enough time to see generally how it's gonna be. But the cost there, you know, will exclude the packing down the approach with the car. That may not be the most appropriate compaction device, but even still, what's the worst case scenario? A little bit of a touch-up? So I think we need to change the policy down to 2 months after it's inspected or 3 months after it's inspected, and go from there. The approach as it gets used is constantly going to get more and more compaction, right? So I think we need to change it. A year is a long ways down the road, and half the time you might forget about it. So I'm all in favor of changing the policy, and then it'll fit these guys here. But every time you do a one-off, you create another hiccup. Okay, well, you did it for them, why not me? Right? So that's the whole idea of policy, is fairness, so that everybody is treated the same. Once you have a policy, staff now know the policy is this, whatever that is. So that's where I'm at, is to change the policy.
Yeah, I wasn't there when the policy was made initially, so the 1 year time, there must have been some sense behind it. But like I said, there must have been a reasoning behind that full year.
Well, it's because you can have settling is all it is, but we could be just supplying the approaches if we wanted to go down that path. Just because there's a policy in place right now doesn't mean it can't be changed in the future.
Through the chair to administration, Colin, do you know how often do we keep these warranties? Like, what's the percentage, would you say, that we have to access that money to tidy up an approach?
Through the chair to Councillor Gunderson, loosely familiar with it. I do know there has been instances where they have had to tap into that, but I would mention it frequently. Amro, if you may have information, like I say, I haven't seen it happen a whole bunch in my timeline here, but I have heard of it happening.
Well, staff has to follow the policy. They have no choice. So all of them would have to apply unless we're doing special favors for somebody. So that's why you have a policy, is everybody has to follow it. But we're in charge of the policies. Go ahead, Amro.
So through the chairs, we usually, based on my conversation with my supervisor for maintenance and others, so some of them we go back the next year, we add some gravel, we do a little bit of compaction. So to be honest, we looked at this case, and we empathize with it. However, we cannot, because of the policy, and we have the agreement itself when they sign it, so we have 1 year warranty for that one. And we looked at it, you know, maybe we can look at some other, maybe we can take that one back and look at, based on the previous, you know, dealing with those approaches, maybe we can, in the future, we look at maybe holding 50%, because we've seen that we went back, we added some gravel, and we did some minor untouched up works. We haven't utilized the whole amount before, but we did, in some instances, we did use some of the work. And that's what it is exactly. As the reef said, it's because of settlement, so you go through that 1 year of going that thaw cycles. So we one of the things we can recommend is going back and looking at those instances instead of saying a 2 month and then return the whole deposit. Maybe we can look at after 2 months or so, or after the first inspection or the same year, we can hold 50% or 30% based on the previous years. That would what I would recommend as administration.
Yeah, I'm all for changing policy if it could be changed. In this case, there really isn't any time, so I'm gonna have to make a motion. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I think the purpose of the policy has been to make sure that, especially ones that are built by themselves, the resident themselves, that proper construction and methods and compaction and that have occurred. I think in this case, I'd sooner see us, because of the health issue and the like, and an emergency type situation, make concession and council make a motion to return their money on this case. But I think generally that policy has been helpful, and it hasn't really been that onerous, in my opinion. I think we don't want to be starting to have situations where in the future it's quite possible that we would be having approaches that we have to now start repairing at our costs. And that's what the whole purpose of this money is to ensure that if there is any deterioration or incomplete approaches having been built, that the money are there to fix it. So I just think policy is good. Let's, in this case, make a motion to make an exception for this circumstance.
Donna?
I don't like exceptions. It's a slippery slope, as that's Bart's favorite, slippery slope. But I sympathize, but unless we're going to change it for everybody, like there isn't a person that doesn't have a hardship over something, and we can't just change it every meeting for something. As much as I sympathize, I would not be able to vote yes on this because it's policy.
Yeah, and that's the proper way. Even George Cuff will tell you, change your policy. Don't do ad hoc decisions. All right, you follow your policy, otherwise what's the point of having a policy? And like Donna says, there's always special occasions for it. But, we get hung up on the little items that go on here right now. There's lots of places where we'll build a mile of road for free for our citizens with absolutely no hiccups to that for as far as warranties. You can take a look at Range Road 91, north of Secondary 621. A mile of road was built that went zero, went nowhere. There's even no plans for development, and we spent $300,000 there. You can take a look at the one at Easy Ford. There's a half a mile of road that was built for the landowner at that time with absolutely no plans for development, and so what are we going to do? We do special things for certain individuals. Andy Kitching would be another one. We built across an environmental grazing lease, and we did that to try to help with the development of our county. Sorry about this, I just got to shut that off. And then we get hung up on a small approach, right? I mean, there was a time, and I think it's still in place, that we build one free approach for every land quarter that doesn't have one, and we do that for free. So that policy is still in place as far as I know. So I think all we have to do is change the policy, and that keeps consistency. Otherwise, you've got anarchy, I guess would be the best way to put it. And there's nothing wrong with giving it back. We just decided to make it a year. We could have made it a month at the time. After it's inspected, you wait a month. Is it going to be absolutely guaranteed? No, but the odd time we have to spend a half a load of gravel is well worth keeping a consistent policy in this county. Dallas.
Yeah, I think if we're going to make a motion, you better suspend that policy. Otherwise, it just would not be prudent for us as government to do that. I think it's also important that Public Works has a look at this approach. I mean, is it structurally sound? They're the best ones to make that judgment, not us, right? I'm not an engineer, and maybe it does just need a little bit of a tune-up right now. It looks like it's pretty soft there right now, according to the pictures. So we're just missing a couple of pieces here before I'm willing to move ahead and give that money back.
Okay. Do we have time to change the policy today? Could we do all three motions? No, it's not a bylaw, right? So it'd be just a motion of council to change the policy to say 2 months, and let's see how that works. Go ahead, Amro.
So, as we were looking at so we do the inspection after it's all completed, and based on that, we start our warranty period. We do, as administration, we don't recommend as a 2 month, we recommend going still with the 2 years, but we can release, when we do from the day inspection, we can release some of the money, like let's say, as I said, based on the history and looking at those approaches, we have never utilized the full amount. So we utilize some of the amount to add gravel and do just minor tune-up and workup for that one. So we can go back and take a look, would be a 50% or a 30% would be, it'd be something that we need to hold for 1 year just to go through the settlement. That would be our recommendation as administration, do that one. However, if the wish of the council to change the policy is to, after the inspection, is to return the full amount, that would be up to council for that.
To Emerald, would you be able to perhaps recall an example in Leduc County where concessions had been made counter to the policy that are maybe an example of what we're talking about here and how another municipality may have done it?
So I can draw on my previous experience for the situation similar to this, which is as administration, we cannot break policy. We follow the policy, all this. And there's been situation that council will step in and empathize with the individual and will have it an exception, but based on certain situation will be due to some personal for that individual, then will be an exception for that one. And I've seen it in some of the situation for my previous experience with other municipalities.
And it doesn't matter what other municipalities are doing, better or worse, we follow the Brazeau way. And so we always try to excel and be better than other municipalities. So sometimes comparing might actually set you backwards as well. So we could do a complete study in the province to see what all municipalities they do, and it's great that you come from Leduc, but Parkland might have a better policy. Yellowhead might have a better policy. So comparing to one is generally what we don't do unless it's for our own particular advantage. I just think that, you know, this is a simple thing. All we have to do is change our policy to 2 months after the inspection, you know? And if we're out a little bit, what's the harm, you know? Donna?
I'd be in favor of changing the policy to the 50% amount, like to be given back after 2 months. I'd be in favor of that.
I think Glenn is looking to see to get the full amount back. Is that what your focus is at, Glenn?
That's my focus.
Yeah, and I'd rather just give it back. What's the worst case scenario? We're out $3,000 if we had to totally redo the approach? You know, a single approach is around $3,000. Like we're nipping away at the peanuts.
But how
So-
many, I'm sorry.
How many approaches?
How many approaches do we build in a year? Like, and if they all aren't up to par,
You could be out 30,000 and just think of the economic development of 30 new homes.
Bart.
No, but I'm saying if you're building an approach, it doesn't matter if it's 5 or 50, the more we have, the better off we are from an economic development perspective. That's what we're trying to do, is encourage people to develop. And it's, when you boil it down to one person, Anyway, I'm trying to keep consistent and follow the Municipal Government Act. Anybody else? Glenn?
Through the chair to Tina, can you bring up this policy that states of the 1-year time? I don't have it. I never did find it. I couldn't find it. I'm just wondering, is it on the county website someplace? Oh, it does exist then?
It's not the policy that says it has to be done in a year, it's the contract they signed with Public Works.
Oh, it's the contract, so it's not
Yeah, so
policy.
it's not the policy, it's just the contract that they signed, so you could perhaps look at that. I did send it to Colin and Amro last week.
Yeah, I was given the same policy and I filled one out for a ratepayer and I didn't see anywhere that said a year's time is also. That's just what I was struggling with was. Sure.
Okay, we'll do another item here
Do
while
you want
we're
to take
waiting
a coffee
then.
break?
Okay, we can have a break too, 5 minutes.
Yes, Council. So as I can hear some discussion on the table and as put up on the screen there, essentially it is not through the policy but through the agreement and contract itself there. If Council's wishes were to waive that warranty period, and so essentially that would be what is set out there on the highlighted portion there. It's just it's essentially for that warranty period, which would be the 1 year. So if council were looking to change that, it would be in waiving that 1 year warranty period or shortening it, as some of the conversation has touched on as well.
So policy just means fairness. Although this isn't a policy, it's a contract. So are we gonna break future contracts as well? Because that's what you're saying now, or at least that's what I'm hearing. Glenn, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say again, these people have been in Brazeau County for a really long time. They paid, they built a beautiful property. They loved it. They didn't want to move. When they signed this agreement, I think that, I don't know if they read the small print on there. I think that they went in thinking that once it was approved that they'd get their money back. That money is being held right now without any interest being accrued on it. They're going to hold it for a year, maybe longer, without any interest. This really doesn't cost us anything. It's no skin off of our nose. Just have somebody go take a look at it, and if it's acceptable, if it's built to the standards that we requested, that we waive this security deposit. So yeah, I'll make a motion. I move that Public Works, I move to have administration direct Public Works to expedite the inspection of the new approach at Lot 2, Block 1, southeast 14 of 1459, west of the 5th. And if approved, waive the warranty period and return the security deposit.
So as I've said, but I'll say it publicly now, I don't like doing ad hoc situations. The public need to know that everybody will be treated equally and fairly. If the next person that comes up and asks for the same thing, we'd have to vote for it in the same way. The most simple way to fix it is just change the policy, that if it passes inspection, that the money will be refunded. And even if, I understand that, Glenn, we've already talked about that, all right? But what I'm saying is that whether it's a policy or a contract, it's the same thing. People need to know that they'll be treated fairly. Anthony's next.
I believe these contracts serve their purpose well in terms of the needs and the interests of the county. And I think when we've had circumstances of hardship in other occasions, like a fire burned a house down, we've helped them out in those and made exceptions to our way of doing things. This is another situation where the individual, in this case, has a medical condition and are moving because of the medical condition, and I think it's a valid reason for Glenn's motion to be honored and for us to, in this case, return the funds, provided that the inspection passes.
Donna?
Well, I'm going to look like the mean witch from the north or whatever, but unless it changes for everyone, we all have hardships at some point, and I wish we could help everybody, but unless we change this contract, I can't vote in favor of this motion.
Okay, everybody had a chance to say their piece? Kara, are you listening to the discussion?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you have anything to say or add?
No.
Okay. Glenn has a motion on the floor to have it inspected and to return the money if it passes inspection immediately. Is that correct? So I understand your motion? All right, all those in favor? Those opposed? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, so that motion is lost. 4-3. All righty, we'll carry on. Unless there's a motion to change the so-called contract or policy, we'll move on to the next item. All right. Okay, there's some correspondence, unless I've missed something on the additions. No, that's just closed. So there's correspondence from Mr. Secura supporting the Opportunity House. What's your wishes, councillors? Anthony?
I move to receive the letter from Mr. Secura for information.
Is that what we've done with everybody else so far? That's kind of like a consistent policy almost. Discussion. All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, thank you. So that was carried unanimous. Councillor reports. Anybody wish to make a motion to receive all councillor reports for information? Anthony?
I move to receive the council reports for information.
Discussion. All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, carried unanimous. Okay, we've got meeting dates. Ratification of the ASB chair and Heinrich's attendance at an online ADM meeting. We need a motion to approve Anthony's attendance for an online meeting. Donna?
I move to approve Anthony's attendance at the ASB chair, as the ASB chair.
Discussion? All those, yes, go ahead, Cody.
Forgive my ignorance. I was just wondering what an ADM meeting is.
Assistant Deputy Minister of Agriculture. He has a had a town hall meeting, and he has them once, twice a year. I don't know exact time schedule. And this was one of the occasions that we could have a chance to hear his comments, and then as Ag Service Board Chair, you know, if we had any comments to bring back to him, share with him.
All right. Okay, pardon me? No, okay, all those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. All right, we've got 16, and we've got A, B, C, and we've got an addition in regards to code of conduct. I need a motion to go in closed. Glenn?
I move to go and close for the sale of Cynthia lots, FOIP Section 25, B, Hilltop Acres, FOIP Section 25, C, Community Hall, FOIP Section 25, D, Code of Conduct, FOIP Section 16.
Discussion? All those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
You'll have to call. Call the meeting back to order. You have a presentation. Come forward. You have to speak about 6 inches from the microphone, as you probably know. State your name for the record, even if we know you or don't.
How's that? We good?
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty good? Okay. All right, my name is Jennifer Finn. I am the program manager for Drayton Valley and District FCSS. So good morning. Thank you for having me here. Today I'll be presenting our 2023 annual report. I have a little bit of allergies, so just excuse me clearing my throat. I'll do a quick review of our local FCSS, our strategic priorities that influence our program spending, then I'll go over our fiscal and outcome report for the last year. Oh, how do I go? Here we go. There we go. So FCSS is a partnership between the province of Alberta, the town of Drayton Valley, Brazeau County, and Parkland County. We provide services in those areas. We were established in 1998. We develop locally driven initiatives to enhance the social well-being of individuals, families, and communities through prevention. So our office currently, we have a FTE of 2.6. So we have myself, we have a full-time admin assistant, a part-time admin assistant, and then 3 casual home support workers. So we provide services to the community in 3 different ways: directly, indirectly, and then through community development. So directly, we provide critical support to the community through referrals, systems navigation, and programming based on the identified priorities of belonging, building empathy, access to supports, and mental wellness. Indirectly, we have we support community organizations to deliver programming through our grant funding, and our priorities for that program are connection, volunteerism, and mental health. Then the third component, community development. Our role in community development is collaborating, supporting, encouraging coordination on community issues. The priorities for that include poverty and income equality, mental health and wellness, housing and homelessness, and community gathering spaces. So onto our operating budget. So in 2023, our total operating budget was $440,000. FCSS funding is an 80-20 split, so the province provides 80% of our funds and the municipalities match it with 20%. So our revenues included the following. The town of Drayton Valley contributed just over $45,000 in addition to its $182,000 provincial grant. Brazeau County contributed just under $34,000 in addition to its $135,000 provincial grant. Parkland County contributed approximately $7,000 in addition to its $30,000 provincial grant, and then we had about $10,000 in revenue from home support and other things like that. And then also to note, we did get about just under $13,000 provincial increase for 2023 as well. That's included in those numbers. So on to our expenses. So the 2023 budget provided $120,000 to our community grants program. So we did 3 grant runs in 2023, winter, spring, and fall. Our total requests for the year were over $260,000. So we weren't able to meet all of the grants requested, but we were able to provide some of them. So this is, on this slide, is all of the grants that we did grant out in 2023. There's 16 there. I'll just highlight a couple of them. $15,000 was allocated to the Wildrose School Division for the Family Wellness Program in the schools. That program provides short-term assistance to students and their families by providing emotional, behavioral, and social support to help foster resiliency skills. 661 children were assisted through that. The Pumpkin Walk, hosted by Aim for Success, received $3,000, and they reported a participation of 375 Brazeau County residents attended. The Alive 55 program received $25,000. This program helps reduce isolation for seniors, creates connections, provides no-cost options to access multiple classes at the Omniplex and the Ricochet Aquatic Center. So it's like the walking track, there's fitness classes they can attend, and then like arthritic aquasize at the pool. This program was accessed by 115 Brazeau County residents. So in total of all of our grant recipients, there was 2,356 Brazeau County residents that participated in those programs. So going on to like our internal direct delivery programs. So the remainder of our budget after our grant funds came out is about $305,000, and this funded 45 different programs that we provided to the community. So this slide kind of shows them all in alignment with how they fit into our strategic direction, but I'll just go through and highlight a few of these. In total, these programs, 2,985 Brazeau County residents access them. Okay, so here's some of the programs for seniors. So our home support program provides light housekeeping to seniors and helps them access resources in the community and reduces isolation. We provided this program to 48 seniors, 6 of them were from Brazeau County, and we spent $25,900 on this program. $8,000 was allocated to our Seniors Appreciation Week. So in 2023, we hosted our annual Seniors Information and Appreciation Tea, and we also went to Tomahawk to their seniors conference as well. 40 residents at the seniors tea stated that they were from Brazeau County at that year. $51,900 was spent on information and navigation for seniors resources. So this includes like a lot of one-on-one work with seniors, helping them with paperwork, applying for CPP, pensions, retiring, Blue Cross, Alberta Seniors Benefits, helping them with their taxes, helping them with like housing applications, things like that. So we offer this program through our office and then also at Shangri-La, Wishing Well, Points West. We also run a variation of this program for non-senior adults through our office and at the Warming Hearts Center. Next is our direct programs for youth. So we allocated $9,800 to youth engagement activities such as the skate park jam and the Building Futures panel discussion with Dr. Unger. These events fit with our goal of creating a sense of belonging, increasing access to supports. Also, $7,711 went to our Youth Advisory Committee. This committee helps ensure the voice of youth in our community in Brazeau County is represented and brought forward. It's new. We didn't have a Youth Advisory Committee. They just started in 2023, so we're excited of the work that they will bring forward. Next is direct programs for individuals. So $13,800 was spent on workshops. We offered a lot of workshops in 2023 for the community. We've been having Canada Revenue Agency and Service Canada come to the Rotary House, and then people can book like one-on-one appointments with them. That's been well utilized. We've also done presentations on seniors benefits, community resources, internet safety, elder abuse, and a care and prepare workshop. For service providers, we've offered de-escalation training, naloxone training, suicide intervention skills training. $7,000 was spent on updating and printing our resource directory. We handed out over 1,000 directories in 2023. And then $14,360 was allocated to the volunteer income tax program. So we had 5 volunteers in 2023. They did over 500 returns, which is quite a lot. 170 of the returns were for Brazeau County residents. Community events. So we participate in many community events. Skate Park Jam, Canada Day, Family Day, the Pumpkin Walk, the Mental Health Chili Cook-Off, National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, Santa's Workshop. These events are an opportunity to share our resources out with the community, make sure they know about us and how to access our supports. We also invest staff time in coordinating and training volunteers for other groups to help build volunteer capacity and promote volunteerism in the community. $18,000 was allocated to this. Just back to this slide here, I just was going to talk about the community development piece a little bit. That's our last area of service delivery. So we work with other community groups at building networks, partnerships, collaborations to help us identify and address community concerns. $25,000 was allocated to this. Some of the collaborations are Healthy Community Coalition, Community Parenting Coalition, the Newcomer Support Team, the Education and Awareness Working Group, and the Case Development Group. I don't have any numbers like on how many people we support with those groups because it's a lot of preventative work that they do. It's a little bit hard to measure that way. So in total, in 2023, there was a combined total of 24,386 participants in the direct and indirect programs. So those would not be unique individuals. That would just be the number of times people participated in the programs. And 198 volunteers contributed 2,437 volunteer hours. that's it. Yeah, you guys have any questions?
Nope, a lot of stuff going on.
Yep, we're busy.
Just the one question I always bring it up, there's a little old lady that I know that's over 80, and she needs like home care. Who does she talk to?
She could call our office. We can get connected for her. There might be other supports that are available too as well.
Yeah, I think what she's looking for is somebody that could clean her house, you know, once a week or something, and
Yeah,
maybe have somebody prepare a couple of meals a week, or,
yeah, that would, our home support program would provide that service.
that's called what?
Home support?
Home support?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
she could call our office and we can get her connected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? No? Yeah, well, thanks for coming in.
And thanks for your guys' support. We appreciate it.
Okay, take the rest of the day off. Quarter to 11, I got it in. I don't know if we can, huh? Well, it's just that I'm thinking if we go back in to close, we've got public input at 11 o'clock. I assume that's what you're here for?
Who's got FCSS in Great Valley? Whose board is that? Is that your board? FCSS Great Valley? Yeah. Who's got that board? In Great Valley? How come they get money out of Parkland County?
Because they provide service to the northern part.
Really?
Go ahead, Anthony.
Like the Tomahawk area is in Parkland County, and they do various residents that come down from Parkland County that provide service, or get the services from our Drayton Valley FCSS. So that's why Parkland County has agreed to put forward some of their revenue that they get to help support their residents here.
They do the same with the pool, don't they, as
Yeah.
well, and skating? So some of the folks from out in that particular area use the facility, so Parkland County recognizes that, and they contribute based on, I think, population, is it, or not?
It's based on their usage, yes.
Yeah.
That's very generous. Otherwise, Butte County doesn't share an FCS, correct?
What's that, Colin? I don't. Great. And I'm going to call the meeting back to order. It's public input, which is an opportunity for the public to come forward and bring us any issues that they may have. We always ask if you got some issues that you give us a solution as well. Be respectful of staff and council, and the floor is open both to people in the gallery and people online. Do we have many people online today?
Kara with us?
Kara, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thanks. Just Kara online? Mr. Kelly, are you here for public input? So you can just come forward. So speak about 6 inches from the microphone and tell us what's burning you.
mic?
Let's see, try it out.
Hello,
State your name.
Russ Kelly,
Okay, go ahead.
President of Drayton Valley Soccer, President of Northwest Central. I have over 4,200 children in my command, from Jasper to Stony Plain. I have two issues, lack of communication, I'm going to call it. I have a Healy pad that I did not request, miniature Healy pad off the end of I had some pavement added out at the fields that we didn't know anything about. It's like a miniature Healy pad that's approximately 18 to 20 inches off the ground. I had a gentleman in a scooter that's partially paralyzed go off the edge of it because there's no off-ramp on it. capsized, scratched his face all up. He was really good about it, but we didn't even know it was coming. It has to be corrected. They're either going to have to tear a part of it down or they're going to have to extend it. I've already talked to Mr. Gunderson. He seems to think he's at fault on the matter. Is that right, sir? So him and I are going to have to go out there and mark it or see how we can fix it, because I'm not going to be responsible for injuries. I have enough babysitting to do. I can't even get the cart up onto it to guide anyone out to the fields.
Is that in the parking lot, or is that right on the soccer field?
Inside the gates.
Okay.
I mean, we asked for gravel, which you had seen and said you couldn't do anything about, but since then it was actually done quite well until they added the pavement. Now it's become a health hazard. We will get that corrected, I hope, sir. My other issue is there's no communication between, I don't know who does the stuff, Public Works, spraying. I had booked in early April telling Colin Luce that there was 3 occasions where I really needed to be very cautious, asthmatic people, etc., and they sprayed the fields to the south of me the night before the provincial playdowns, and I had kids with sore throats, runny eyes, and were sick from the spray. Should not have happened. If they would have talked to us knowing that we'd already booked, it was quite embarrassing. Alberta Soccer was out. There's no communication. If you're going to be doing things, you should always let the other parties know, in my opinion. It was a disaster. And how you fix it, I don't know. But I don't know who's responsible for that. It would be nice to be informed in advance.
Okay, no, I understand.
Quite embarrassing. And on another note, I want to thank Councillor Kerr Westerland for stepping up to the plate and coaching for us this year, and the gentlemen that take care of the parking lot and float it every time they know I'm having an event. Kudos, and there's several staff members upstairs at the beginning of the season donated their time to help me set the place up. Muchly, muchly appreciated. But I would like to see better communication. Thank you.
Okay, we'll appreciate that. Russ, thanks for coming in. We'll look into it as we usually do, so.
And sir, you call me and we'll have a plan, please? Thank you.
Yeah, they've donated a lot of time to creating a recreation facility. It's I can't imagine. Yeah, especially, who cuts the grass, Lee? Do we cut the grass or do they cut it? Wow. Do we donate any money annually to them? No? Okay. I'm just curious about the workings. All right. Nobody else from the public? Just call a second time there. Is there anybody from the public? So Kara, I don't know if you heard or not, but Russ gave you kudos for the coaching that you did. So that was appreciated, he said.
I did, thank you.
Good for you. Is that what made you sick, is all that spray?
No, it's either stomach flu or food poisoning.
Oh, it's okay. I was just having fun there. All right.
Yeah, I know.
We'll come out of in public there. It's nice that we get some compliments. So good job, Kara. I guess we'll go back into enclosed to finish off the enclosed session. A motion? Oh, Donna, there you are.
I move to go enclosed for sale of Cynthia Lots, FOIP Section 25, Hilltop Acres, FOIP Section 25, Community Halls, FOIP Section 25, Code of Conduct, FOIP Section 16.
Administrator there. A new administrator there. He was practicing in your chair there, Colin. I'd be watching him. Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting back to order. There was some, I think, direction from the enclosed session we had. Go ahead, Glenn.
I move to direct administration to consolidate the county-owned lots in Cynthia, Lot 4 and 5, Lots 12 and 13, Lots 14 and 15, all within Block 4, Plan 1989, KS, and then proceed to public tender as discussed.
Discussion, all those in favor? Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
Okay, that's carried unanimous. Secondly, Anthony?
I move to direct administration to draft amendments to Fin 7 policy as discussed and bring back to council for final approval.
Discussion, all those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Carried unanimous. In regards to Hilltop Acres? Glenn?
I move to direct administration to continue working with Hilltop Acres residents as discussed.
Discussion, all those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Thank you, that's carried unanimous as well. The code of conduct issue? Anthony?
I move to include the conclusion from the summary of investigation of the code of conduct complaint as part of the minutes and close the file.
Discussion? Go ahead, Cody.
I remember we did this once before, where I can't remember what the original motion was, but then we changed it to the conclusion, and then we wanted, and that wasn't actually the intent. So I'm wondering maybe if we just somehow word it so that we just do it the way we did it last time. I just don't think it, huh? I thought we had included the, like, not the whole package, but a good size of it. So like the yeah, something like that. Conclusion from the summary?
No, I don't think we did that. I think we just included the conclusion. Not the complaint itself. No, we didn't do it like, we just did the conclusion. No, it's saying to include the conduct complaint as well.
No,
Investigation of the code of conduct
to
complaint.
include the conclusion section from the summary of the investigation, so it's just that section of the code of conduct complaint, and it's only taking that section that it's identifying.
Okay. If you guys are all comfortable with that? Any other discussion? All those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In favor.
Those opposed? Dallas is opposed, okay. Oh, there's two? Okay. So two opposed. Alrighty, that was it for the enclosed session. All right, so next up we have Eagle Point, presentation to Brazeau County. You guys are smoking. You know, I had an antique ice cream block maker, one of those, that made the ice cream blocks.
There you go, sir.
I had an antique machine that actually was designed to make little square cubes.
Sandwiches?
No, to make sandwiches, yeah.
Over the fire?
No, just ice cream. Just, and that was about the size of it. Is this a drink?
Who doesn't love ice cream sandwich?
Okay, so what do you want? Huh? So Trudeau answered 5 questions at the FCM conference. And it cost about $1 million to bring him and his entourage and 3 planes. So it worked out to about $150,000 a question.
How did you find out the number?
The number? Just a rough estimate of the,
Just guess.
Is it math?
I think I'm on. Well, while you're unwrapping, I'd just like to say hello and welcome with me today. I brought my colleagues Tanya Duper. Tanya's our finance and admin and safety person. She just successfully completed getting us our C-Corps designation, which was awesome. We got funding to do that through a grant through the Community Foundations of Canada. So that was a great thing, $15,000, and presto, and a whole bunch of work. And also with us today is Jennifer Budd. And Jen's just come on with us in February of this year, and Jen is our marketing and tourism specialist. So I welcome those girls to the meeting with me for moral support. Awesome. And thank you for taking the time to meet with us. So just as kind of my usual shtick, I like to come and see you guys annually and just talk a little bit about Eagle Point Blue Rapids. Thank you, Anthony, for serving on our council this year. It's been great to have you back, and I've had Donna sat on our board before, but I think the rest of you, besides from Kara, have not. So I encourage you, if you have the opportunity, we'd love to have you come on as a director just for learning purposes. It's great to kind of spread the word of what we do in the community. Okay, next slide. Can I advance it? Oh, I can? Okay, awesome. Okay. So just, we thought it was appropriate to, we had to, I guess, acknowledge the fire that occurred in Blue Rapids last spring when we had the big wildfire situation. And I just want to extend my thanks to Brazeau County and all the services you guys provided during that time, and particularly the follow-up conversation that you had in the community. I think there was some really good information shared at those debriefs, and I think they were particularly valuable. We had Gen 7 do up a little map for us of the fire area, which I found incredibly helpful because Alberta Parks really didn't have a good gauge on where the fire was, particularly in Blue Rapids. So I asked Gen 7 to put this together for us. So we realized through that that just about 27% of Blue Rapids experienced fire. So that's pretty significant. The worst, oh, sorry, I'm not a very good slide clicker. Next. Okay, there we go. The worst area in Blue Rapids to sustain damage from a recreation standpoint was Evergreen Shooting Club. They lost significant vegetation and some infrastructure and some equipment in the fire. So they are building back, but they were open, I think, late last August, and they're still continuing to do some recovery work from the fire. Just some highlights from the report. I'll just focus on a little bit too. I'd like to always bring you up to speed on our outdoor and environmental education numbers. This past year, we had 3,673 students go through our program, a bit down from the year previous. We're usually over the 4,000 threshold, but we missed probably 3 weeks of programming due to the wildfire situation, so that would kind of account for that number. We do programming. Last year we did 17 schools in 10 different communities within the region, and a number of those regional communities are the outlier, the smaller communities within Brazeau County. We also have trail counters out on the trails, so we can gauge and give you some feedback on the usage of trails. Our busiest trail annually is the Rotary Pembina Nordic South Community Trail, so that's the trail by the cemetery. The Pembina Nordic Ski Club is also a highly used area, with the ski trails clocking in at around 4,700 and the mountain bike trails just right around 1,100. So those trails are starting to become more widely used. We're looking to get more trail counters in our other recreation areas, particularly where the ATV clubs are, or ATVs have trails, and the horse trails as well. So we'll have a little bit more comprehensive data. The total volunteer hours that we had for the Parks Council was 8,629. That includes any governance time. It includes all of our recreation clubs' hours for the works that they do to maintain their leases, or any events or volunteer activity that they have going on. And then any of the festivals that we do, we log our volunteer hours there as well. So quite a significant number. With Brazeau County, we have enjoyed a nice relationship. Lee Chambers is particularly helpful. If I've got a garbage issue, he can sometimes help me out without having to do too much to make that happen. Sometimes there's a little bit of a dump that happens, and we like to get that cleaned up, and we appreciate the help of Lee when he can, and council in the support of that. We've had some sign repair that you guys helped us out with too, which was great, and we also garnered a letter of support from you over the past number of years for our operating plan, our operating budget that we get from Alberta Parks. And I'm happy to tell you that this year we secured a 3-year operating deal with Parks, so I don't have to pester you this year for a letter. We've got operating funds for the next 3 years from Parks, so that's a really significant move on Parks' behalf. I think they see the work that we're doing in this region and see that it's good value for the money, and so we're happy about that for sure. And then I always like to just wrap up. I know some of you are very familiar with who all sits on our council, but I like to just reiterate that we do have members from Brazeau County, the town of Drayton Valley, and Alberta Parks. And then we have all of our operating members who have leases or who do activity within the parks. So that's the Brazeau ATV Club, the Brazeau Bowbenders, the Horse Club, the Drayton Valley Paddling Club. Rotary actually sits as an operating member, the Evergreen Shooting Club, Pembina Nordic Ski Club, and the West Central Riverboat Association. And then, of course, we also have the interest members, and that's our adjacent landowners, Sand and Gravel, Oil and Gas Representation, and the Drayton Valley Hospitality and Tourism Authority. So we've got a good broad range of folks that sit on the council and are working to advance the strategic objectives of the council. And the other thing I just wanted to mention before I take any questions, we're working with you folks this year with your ag department in doing an event called the Mothball. That's going to be held on July 31st. It's a Wednesday night, and it's for all things that are creepy and move in the night. And we're getting quite significant uptake kind of provincially on that occasion, because there's folks from different, like the Lepidopterists Guild and all these kind of creepy crawly people that want to come and experience the park in the evening and see some of these creatures that we have right in our backyard. So with that, I will take any questions you have.
Okay, Glenn, you beat him. Go ahead.
I was over by the gun club maybe 2 weeks ago, but there was quite a bit of garbage on the ground there. How do you guys collect garbage, or how do you find it or identify it? And is this part of the volunteer hours to clean up?
Yeah, so quite often it is the volunteer clubs that have leases in the region, that are most often in the region, that can report on the garbage. Quite often the clubs will deal with garbage on their own if they can. Sometimes our partners in the oil and gas industry, like Ricochet, and before them ARC, have been very responsive in trying to get garbage out of the areas where it's dumped. And sometimes, like, we had a chronic issue on Township Road 494 right here. Is it Township? Yes. Township Road 494, at the end of it, there was a real dumping ground. So we're trying to do the best we can to make sure that garbage is picked up, but like, we physically in our office don't have the manpower or the equipment to do that kind of thing, so we have to rely on the help of user groups or businesses or folks like Lee, who will, sometimes send a truck over.
Well, what about having just like a garbage collection site down at those more popular spots, so people could put it into a receptacle rather than leave it on the ground? Like,
Yeah.
a lot of it is just people partying. It looks like there's a campfire,
Yeah.
and then there's all sorts of stuff thrown around.
That's a fair question. The trouble with garbage receptacles is they have to be emptied, and they have to be emptied regularly and stayed on top of. I don't know if that's, like, I don't have the budget for that kind of
Okay.
investment, but like, if that's something that Brazeau County would be at all interested, if you guys, from a maintenance perspective, if that's something that we could work out a deal with, that would be awesome. Right now, I'm kind of in the position where I have to rely on the generosity of other folks to help with those issues. And we really try to coach that if you take garbage or you take stuff into a park, you take it out with you, that there's not a cleaning crew that comes behind to clean up. It's your responsibility to take that mess away. That's kind of what we try to preach.
Thanks.
Yeah, if you make it easy for people to dump garbage, they will. At least if there's no receptacle there, they feel guilty for throwing the garbage out.
Right.
But-
Well, I don't know if they even feel guilty, some of them, but, and it's like anything. 98% of the people can use an area responsibly and, leave it in better shape than they found it, and then there's going to be the 2% that are going to make a mess.
Yeah, we get the same thing down at the horse club, on the west side there by the
Yes, yeah.
family picnic grounds.
One of the good things is we've seen a little bit of an uptake in conservation officers floating through the area. We've had put in a request that there be a little bit more of a visible presence. So I do think that helps a little bit, if they know that the conservation officers are floating through the area from time to time.
Anthony?
And if you guys look at your annual report that you got passed out to you just now, you'll see the last 2 pages is the financial statement. And it shows, kind of when I've talked to you different times about our financial, or how we stand, it just gives you the picture of where it is. And maybe if you could, Sandra, the grant revenue, it went from 2022 to 2023 up about 40,000. Was that mostly provincial in nature, or was that where we had additional local sponsors that gave donations?
The grant revenue there would be reflective of, we received a significant grant from the Forest Resource Improvement Association of Alberta in 2023. Yes, that's correct. And that would reflect that increase. They actually came across with like $68,000 grant over like that level of grant for 3 years to help fund our outdoor and environmental education programs. So yeah, our financial position is pretty decent compared to a few years ago. We were kind of scratching rock bottom, but we've clawed our way out of that.
And I think it would be good, though, for also the work that Lee's group does when we do picking up the garbage and we do the various things with the signs and that. That's all contributions as well, even if it's in kind. So it'd be nice if that was acknowledged somewhere in these financial statements, because it's the same as writing a check for work that's being done.
It is, and that's, I for sure acknowledge Brazeau County in our financial partners and legacy sponsors, and also in the Friends of the Parks Council, to try to acknowledge that in-kind contribution, because you're right, it all comes with a price tag, absolutely. It's a little tricky to quantify, but I can certainly speak to our accountant about the viability of that as an entry point on the financials.
I want to thank a couple of the groups there that belong to you guys there for helping us battle the designation of the Heritage River. Although we lost the battle, I believe that there could be political overreach in the future. You know, otherwise, what's the point of doing it?
Yes, and actually, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. I spoke with the town of Drayton Valley, and we'll speak to them further about this to the whole council. But I was, like, the Heritage River has obviously been passed. However, in the documents of that whole process, they speak to the fact that this is a voluntary program. And I guess my point to them would be, and I would ask you to entertain the idea, if Brazeau County EPBR and the town of Drayton Valley wrote a joint letter to say, you know what, we were not supportive of this initiative. Could the reach that is around the Drayton Valley area be considered not part of the Heritage River program, as, by your own words, it's voluntary? So I'm kind of curious just to see if we wrote that, how it would, what kind of reaction it would get from them. Because I think and like I said too, there was no communication to us before the announcement that it had been passed, and you know, anything to cite our objection, it was kind of disregarded. So I think a letter from the three organizations would be kind of appropriate.
There was somebody from one of the groups called me up, I can't remember now, but they were thinking about running a petition, you know, to try to get enough signatures, which might actually help to support that. I think it was somebody from the paddling club.
I hadn't heard anything about that, but I could look into that to see if they got any traction on that. But I think at the very least, I think a letter of kind of you know, discontent would be appropriate from our region.
There's lots of arguments not to do it. Saskatchewan doesn't designate it, Manitoba doesn't designate it, and that goes across those two. So I mean,
do you know why that is? Like, what's their
there's just no support for it. But there's just some people that were keen to get it going.
Oh, absolutely, there were, yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah, I think that would be a great initiative, and at least if nothing else, you've got it on record. So if overreach starts to happen and the federal government starts to say, you know, you don't get any federal money unless you do this.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And we're strong supporters of Alice, which we're doing it upstream before it hits the river. And we are pretty clean here already, the river. The air is clean, the water's clean, even the dirt's clean here.
Yes.
So.
Oh, and the Alice program is one of the kind of in-kind partners on this event, the Mothball, that we're having on July 31st. So
sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So those flowers there, it's not oxeye daisy, it's not a sunflower, it's not a dandelion. What is that?
That one?
Yeah.
That's a darn good question, Bart. What is it?
Yellow what? Yellow Hampton.
Campion.
Oh. Could you speak more clearly, please? Campion. I don't know if I've seen that weed. Is it a weed?
No.
Just a wild one.
It's all good.
No is the answer she was looking for.
Yeah. ixnay.
Yeah.
It's all good, Bart.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Well, like brown-eyed Susans are really quite a beautiful, they're like that, but they have a big round brown ball in the middle.
Well, that could be what it is.
No, but it's not. It was no was the other answer.
I don't know
yeah.
what it is. Trust Tanya. Tanya knows her wildflowers.
Okay. well,
These
that's
girls
maybe
know way
handy.
more than I do.
Campion. I learned a new word today. All right, Dallas. You have
Senator.
something good to say?
Yes, something good to say. I just wonder when you have, do you have an annual general meeting? Where, when, and,
Yeah. So our annual general meeting was just held this past June.
okay.
June 3rd, I believe it was. And our annual general meeting is, like, our organization is kind of different because everybody that comes to our table is essentially appointed. They're appointed representatives from other organizations. So it's not like Joe Public can come in to the meeting and request to be on the council. That's not how our board is, the governance is set up.
I see. So you hold regular meetings, monthly or bi-monthly? I don't know your meeting schedule.
We have 5 meetings a year.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have the AGM and then 5, well, essentially 5 regular meetings, and then we kind of sneak 2 strategic planning meetings in there, piggybacked on a couple of the regular meetings.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Boy, that's just a good reminder. you
Right?
know, of the fires. All right. Anything burning you guys' butts here, or are you ready to go here?
All right.
I'm glad your girls are all smiling, because nobody else smiles at my joke.
Well, that's why we thought we'd bring you some food.
Yeah,
Make you guys smile a little bit. Remember, it's summer.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Take the
your
rest
help.
of the day off. All right. Yeah, do we want to formalize that letter, Shanda? Do we want to formalize that letter and,
I'm meeting with town council on July 17th, and if I get the okey-dokey from them, I can do a draft and send it to you all.
yeah,
If you want to sign off on it.
okay. Everybody good with that? Anybody opposed to that? Kara, are you good? Kara, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
All right. Thanks. So all we need is a motion to adjourn, I believe. Cody,
I move to accept the EPBR presentation for information.
discussion, all those in favor? And
Kara's in favor.
Kara, how do you vote?
In favor.
You thought I forgot.
No,
Okay, a motion to adjourn?
I'll move adjournment.
Thanks, Kara. Discussion, all those in favor? How do you vote, Kara?
In
Opposed?
favor.
Kara's opposed.
Kara's in favor.
Okay. All right.